views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast are the content creator's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of Essex County College. The material and information presented here is for entertainment and informative purposes only. It should not be considered as professional advice or a substitute for seeking professional guidance.
Yeah, this is Beta Loader once again, and well, we're back for yet another week of me doing some shenanigans, and so that's what today's episode is going to be about. Shenanigans from the internet, because it's obvious that today I really need to discuss more about social media and also all that. So if you remember 2 weeks ago, I've mentioned that I've heard of basically nobody. It's like, you remember the time where I said how I went to social media and how I got to Instagram, well, not Instagram, but I've seen a bunch of Instagrammers, I've seen a bunch of Adobe users. Like, I've never heard of almost anybody. A few I do recognize, a few I just don't. And I just don't really want to go over-exaggerate when I said I don't really want to add associated with AI, but, you know, AI is the future, but except I'll still disagree with what I said. AI will never be the future. Actually, I'd never say anything about that, but I still agree upon myself that AI is never going to be the future, even if you try to enhance it and all that. And so today we're just going to be looking at some random topics, and this is because this is out of my, this is based out of my general knowledge. So let's talk about why the television is still left. Well, in that case, let's talk about television once again. And as I said, the television to this day is still being left behind. I'm still leaving TV left. Hopefully I'm making that sense. But the TV at this point has been left behind from the hollow shells of, well, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but everybody already knows it's, you know, just a hollow shell what it used to be. It used to be entertainment, it used to be fun and all that, but it's like, now you're just watching some news, now you're just watching some reality shows, infomercials, it doesn't really matter. And I tried to discuss about this, but it turns out I've made a nonsensical episode about it that I felt like I became a sellout and decided to promote Apple. Except if you already recognize, or if you already saw the whole description around it, then I already said that this episode, at least, is not an advertisement for Apple. Also, my voice is not really on my best condition, nor is my intelligence or my knowledge at all. I still have to record an episode because I promised I was going to do 5 more episodes. I just don't really, it's not that I don't really feel like making an episode right now. I'm already stressing myself out, so I have to go. This is probably going to be another short episode, so I apologize for it, but I guess we can move on and say something about TV. So from what I know, The Loud House hasn't aired a new episode since November 2024. And I would say this is as concerning because when it comes to The Loud House, I used to be a fan of that show, but I just don't care about it. But now suddenly Nickelodeon decides not to air any new episodes, even though internationally they're airing new episodes and all that. So you have new episodes, of course, new episodes, same scenario. And in America, you're just not having anything at all. Except you're just watching the reruns. It's like reruns like SpongeBob. It's like that's the only thing I'm going to be seeing, like South Park. But even then, those two shows are completely different. And I don't think I have to describe what that means. But I would like to go ahead and discuss more of my context behind the previous episode. So if you remember about the Brazil thing, let's just say I didn't want to make this whole show look dark. But as I said, if you already seen the darkest moments in TV history, then you would understand the whole context behind it. So I don't really want to leave this as a joke because obviously saying the S word isn't a joke. That's the reason why you have to prioritize my mental health. And as I promised next week, well, not next week, but maybe in my season finale, hopefully I'll talk about my future and hopefully I'll talk about my family because it's probably time where I do need to discuss what I'm really suffering with and what I'm doing. So this is just the bottom. Well, it's not the bottom, but you're only seeing my stress. Like, so far, you've only seen my stress go on as I'm recording, but I have to overcome it, and I have to overcome it somehow. And that's why I decided to make this podcast. So TV at this point, as I said, it has no point of airing anything like this podcast, but at least I just do it because I really have nothing else to do. So we have that. So again, I say it's concerning that The Loud House hasn't aired anything. There's literally no content anyway. So with no content, then it's like, what's even the point of running a TV channel if all you're going to do is just air some syndicated shows and some reruns? It's like, it's already a dead channel where I don't really want to watch anything from them anymore. It's like if you ever consider IPs and cartoons and all that, it's like nostalgia's never going to be the same, even if you revive Gumball. Because that's one thing I'm also aware about. And I may be late to this, but I'm recording this now as of May. I'm already aware of the Gumball revival. So hopefully that should be, well, hopefully, of course, it'll be a good rerun. I can't even describe how much I say. It's been a while since I last seen that show on Cartoon Network, besides regular show and Adventure Time and, We Bear Bears. But anyways, I think I've said enough about that part. And then we have, Nickelodeon saying about how they're going to be airing a bunch of SpongeBob compilations for Memorial Day weekend. So apparently that's going to be true because I realized that every day anyway, they're going to be airing SpongeBob over SpongeBob. It's like you're literally just watching a spam ton of the same shows. It's like Nick Jr. already airs Paw Patrol so many times. I can already call this a Paw Patrol channel. SpongeBob at this point is just a SpongeBob network, which I've already said before, but that's only because of popularity and the 25th anniversary, which we already went over with. And that was like a year ago. This is 2025 anyway, not 2024. But I guess just disregard the cover 2024 at the end of each show. Anyways, and so SpongeBob compilation is always going to be there for Memorial Day weeks. Like they're not going to be airing anything. I actually remember when Nickelodeon or any other channel used to air something new for Memorial Day. So whenever we didn't have to any school, you usually would be waiting for like 1 o'clock or so to watch something new. And so whenever a new episode comes in, then I might as well just go ahead and listen to it, maybe just watch it and see how I feel about it. Nowadays I just feel like TV isn't anything special. So like no matter how you try to bring back nostalgia for Christmas or Thanksgiving, or literally any type of Valentine, like any type of holiday, it's never going to be the same because streaming services already ruined television and streaming services already ruined the economic standards of investments. And I think if you've seen episode 2 or episode 3, then I've already discussed about budgeting. So I rather not talk about that again today, or at least at this time. Now the next thing I want to talk about is the South Park episodes, because even though I got my wish granted at a few episodes ago, season 27 is still going to happen. The only problem is, and at least the only consequence is, there's going to be more banned episodes, and so that could be a bit disappointing, and that means maybe I could have just looked at HBO Max, and that's what I'm going to be calling it anyway, because HBO Max did something pointless. And I think I could be misinformed, but when HBO... Actually, I don't think HBO did anything, but I think Warner Bros. Discovery decided to go ahead and disassociate with HBO. I think they called themselves Max. I think that was a controversial decision where we all got lost. And then when it comes to the cartoons and all that, basically all the nostalgia that you used to remember back in the 1990s and 1980s, whenever you were born with, like however you were born, like Boomerang and all that, they've removed all the nostalgia, like Looney Tunes, Merry Melodies, and literally any other show that you may remember of. Like the Powerpuff Girls, I think, and then there's... Like, you can literally name any Cartoon Network show and almost any other show that you've seen before, and then Rama apparently is still there. Maybe not, but then again, I never cared about this show. I still hate it to this day. I still don't have any idea why I decided to watch it when I was younger, but I digress. So, yeah, I guess now we're looking at... I'm already going off topic once again, but the point is, South Park is getting banned again, at least for a couple of more episodes, when we already had like 5 episodes already banned because of Muhammad. And in this case, I will not discuss too much about the religion, just to avoid any sort of controversy. And so, I would like to apologize for anybody, at least for the Muslims who I did mention. I would like to apologize for that. And this is not to say this is going to be a fake apology video, but maybe this part may be edited. If not, then just remember that I am a Christian. Well, not a Christian, but I am a Catholic, so I do not have the same religions or beliefs like the Muslims. And so every religion is going to differ. So I don't have any right of directly saying anything about them, even if it's just a show about sarcasm and more than just sarcasm. But it's more than adult animation. It's more than adult animation itself. You really have to consider writing at this point, but that's all I can say for that. In other words, I would say South Park is like a show that almost got away with everything, But now with Paramount Plus censoring the art of almost any episode that you've seen, I guess we're also dealing with censorship. Maybe, hopefully, if I decide to research on that episode on how censorship works, then maybe I'll try and discuss about that soon. But at least not in this semester, because I'm currently busy at this point. But that's all I can say for that part. I think I'm just already rambling on for some point, so I guess we're gonna move on to the next segment, which is about music. This one I actually have more passion. I have more passion to talk about music itself. So let's talk about the more popular songs and the infamous song. And today we're gonna start with something infamous. So you may have remembered the song, or in that case, if you ever know of the Eagles, then you may have heard of Hotel California. That was like classic rock from the 1970s. And then let's talk about Frank Ocean. So he basically decides to go ahead and sample the whole instrumental. And I can already call you this, and I already can say it's literally going to be the most lazy. It's like the laziest attempt of sampling anything. It's like if you're just going to take the whole cover, like the whole instrumental, without making any modifications, like then you're just not making anything special around it. So the name of the song I'm referring to is American Wedding. I have never heard of this song, but if you've heard of the Eagles, if you heard of Hotel California, you know the instrumental, except the vocals are different. Either way, he got lawsuited and got copyright infringement, which is a cease and desist situation. It's like that's what we've dealt with. Sampling at this point, well, sampling to this day has been illegal. Sampling even then is already illegal anyway, but back then, if you know the history of hip hop, then we all know about sampling, drums, we know melodies. And so you can sample anything from the 1970s and 1960s and make it into your own artwork, your own project. But then again, I feel like there's a line where you just can't pass. It's like there's a line where if you just take the whole instrumental, then that's already a problem. It's like that's my problem right there. That's my red flag. Mostly because if you're just taking the whole instrumental without modifying anything, it's like if you're just lazy, if you're just doing the most laziest method of sampling without doing anything special, like chopping or slicing or editing any of the sample, it's like for me, I just want to make is when it comes to XG24, my own project, I want to make the samples look unrecognizable. So if I ever heard of a song that nobody's ever heard before, then I would go ahead and try to sample that. Mostly because I'm the one who decides that I wanted to listen more to the discography more than their popular hits. And I've discussed this over and over, but I feel like I need to bring more context. And that's why I decided maybe next week I'll try and dedicate my next episode to myself, my own persona, XJ24, with psychedelic pop, maybe not psychedelic pop, but mostly psychedelic rock, indie rock, lo-fi, hip-hop, and maybe a bit of shoegaze, or not shoegaze, but dream pop. Because that's another thing different from shoegaze. But aside from that, I'm not just a fan of Nirvana. Even if I am, I would still rather listen to their whole discography than just Smells Like Teen Spirit. Anyways, and so let's talk about some. Anyways, now we have another song which we all know about as of this day, and I'd like to clarify that the song called "Anxiety" by Doechii. It's like, you remember that time where I said who's Doechii and all that. And to this day, I guess I only know Doechii by only one song, and it's another example of like lazy sampling. There was no effort was being put into the sampling at all. You just took the whole instrumental without and then just stripping the vocals so you can add your own vocals. And I've actually catch a reference about somebody's watching me, and we all thought it was a Michael Jackson song, except it's not a Michael Jackson song. Even though he's featured on the vocals when it comes to singing. His singing vocals was mostly Michael Jackson. But if you ever heard of Somebody's Watching Me and all that, if you know the song, then you know what I'm referring to. Anxiety, and let me say this right now, is not the best way to represent anxiety. It's like, this song itself doesn't seem like it's going to represent the diagnosis of having anxiety. And when you have panic attacks, when you're stressed out, I wouldn't listen to this song. And it's literally the same reason why I say making a whole joke out of this one thing, this one disease, like any issue that when it comes to your mental health. It's like it's not that I dislike this song. I never cared about the song, but it's already gone popular where when I need to, let's just say it's gone way too popular that I have to discuss about this briefly. So if you know, go. I don't know. If you heard of somebody that I used to know, that one song that you know about, then you know what I'm referring to. So let's go back to what I was already saying. If you heard of Coastal California, then you may have not heard of American Wedding. It's a straight direct copy of the whole instrumental, stripping away the vocals. And now if you heard Anxiety by Dolce, then it's the same thing. You're just stripping the vocals behind somebody that I used to know. Except there's nothing special about it. I think I've seen this video where when they decide to go ahead and play the instrumental, it's like they decide to go ahead and remake this one song about Godai. It's like this one artist. And then this one guy decided to go ahead and start singing the lyrics to Anxiety that he got frustrated. Mostly because he think we're just confused. That's the only thing I can only say. We're confused to the fact that either we do know the original song, and I still prefer, even then, I would still prefer the original song because at least it has effort, it has some talent. It's like you can't go ahead and decide to go ahead and sample the whole instrumental, sample the whole beat, and make nothing out of it. It's like, I would say if you're doing this, then don't make your song doesn't deserve to be profitable. And the only reason why I say it's not profitable is because you're just copying the same. Just like if you ever heard of plagiarism, then you know what I mean. Plagiarism is when you just copy directly, like an AI generated, like any AI generated content. So you can go on and go to ChatGPT and then just generate some lyrics, put it on there, and it's like, and then you're just done. Because at this point you just have no effort at all, and without any effort, I've discussed this already. Without any effort, and you're not trying at all, there's just no improvement to make, because it's already soulless. You already destroyed a whole song that has legacy. You already destroyed a song that's iconic. And so I'm just saying, the song doesn't deserve to be profitable. And like I've heard of when, as I say, even if I heard of the one song, even if I heard a bit of Anxiety, please, this song doesn't deserve to be the national anthem to Anxiety. And I'm not joking when I say that, because you can have anxiety all you want. The music video does not represent your own anxiety. So if you're willing to consider help, if you need help, this song isn't going to help you at all. That's going to be my honest opinion around that song. And so that's why when I decide I want to sample, remember, I just want to make the sample look unrecognizable. Even if it's a bit similar to the original song, I at least want to modify and build within another samples. Like I can build structures of samples from either obscure artists or well-known artists locally, but at least what I want to do is build a whole orchestra. My voice is not in my best condition, so that's why I'm sort of mispronouncing some things. But I guess that's the imperfections of it, because you can't really expect AI to enhance my voice and decide to go ahead and improve it at all. And now hopefully that made sense, because that was still worse script. I have grammar issues. I think I've said enough. And so remember, if you're copying off another music, then you're already considering plagiarism. And that's what I won't support either. And so that's the next thing, and probably the last topic I'll discuss for today. In fact, actually there's two more. But let me go ahead and talk about AI generated videos first. So I've remembered the time when I've decided to watch a cartoon. And when I decide to watch a cartoon, I'm expecting to watch a whole cartoon. Maybe a review, maybe an analysis or retrospective. But then you have these white card thumbnails. It's like you have a random picture, a random image of something within a white box. A white image is just a white image that means nothing. It's like it's meaningless, and then you just go ahead and scam the viewers out of a long video that doesn't deserve to be long. So let's just go ahead and say this. It's like if you watch a video and then you're just expecting to watch something that should excite you, and then you end up getting disappointed that it's mostly just episode analysis. Like you're just summarizing the whole episode, but you're not doing anything around it. In that case, I would say it's boring. And that's the same thing I would like to say with movie recaps. Because you're not recapping anything, you're just summarizing the whole film. And that's what bores me, because I'm not interested in one movie. So if I want to watch a movie, I'll go ahead and watch a movie. I don't want YouTube to tell me what happens next and what happens first, what happened. Like, I don't really want YouTube or any, it's like, we already know copyright infringement. But as I said, I don't really want to know what happens. I just want to watch it on my own, at my own curiosity. And so that's just my problem right there. And so if you ever want to know more about mediocrity and how it feels to be mediocre, I would suggest you to go ahead and either watch Raw's Critiques, which was my pilot episode, and that episode was called How Not to Criticize a Cartoon. And if you don't want to see that, then I would also suggest you go ahead and watch episode 3 again so you can see the context here. And so that's one thing I'd like to say here. And so you're just watching a cartoon, except you're watching either Simpsons, you're watching South Park, you're watching Family Guy, you're watching SpongeBob, or in either way, you're just... There's two things that annoys me. Sometimes you can go ahead and make a profit out of one episode and then play Subway Service in the background. That used to be a trend. And now when it comes to recaps and when it comes to summaries without doing anything special around it, then there's really nothing to improve on because the whole content, as I said, is already boring as it is. And so when it's completely boring, I don't want to watch it. I'm going to move on to the next video. And that's the whole context when I mention why I decided not to watch the whole AI laptop. It just doesn't interest me at all. And now let's go on to the next thing because I've recently discovered about Instagram and all those tutorial videos. Tutorial videos can be a good thing because it helps you enhance on what you can really do in the near future. Well, not in the near future. You can enhance on what you can do now, and then if you have any sort of software that you've used, and you can watch tutorial videos. And when it comes to tutorials, I prefer watching the long form videos because even though you have the short videos where they tell you how to do it, maybe you have some questions that you want to ask, and maybe you want to do something specific. So there's tutorial videos or tutorial websites. Like there's basically articles about tutorials. So if you ever consider that, then I would prefer to go, well, in my preference, I would say I would go out and watch some long form videos. Because as I said, it's more helpful than to watch a video that just says, oh, you're doing something stupid. So that's not how you do it. So let me go ahead and put the X mark, like, I think that was completely harsh, but you get the gist. And so here's how you do instead. And so you just give the viewers the whole tutorial and then blah, blah, blah. Do what you got to do. And then video over. That's how much it frustrates me because I don't want to sometimes when it comes to video editors, sometimes when it comes to anybody who's a beginner, I don't want to go ahead and say, oh, something stupid that generically nobody would do unless you're a beginner. But otherwise, I get to the point where you can tell how not to do this, how not to do that. But I don't want to see the same format where you're just going to accidentally or at least do something stupid on purpose and then tell us, oh no, that's not how you do it. Here's how to do it instead, and then you just go on and do a how-to video. How-to videos, as I said, already is helpful. Tutorial videos are helpful. But in the format of watching the same thing, the same format where you do something stupid and then you do something right, I don't want to see it at all. And it just frustrates me. I don't really like those type of videos. That's why, as I said, I prefer to watch some long form videos because when it comes to, at least it's not just because they don't show you how to do something bad. A tutorial video is already helpful. Actually, I think I'm repeating myself. I'm repeating the same points. But either way, when it's helpful, you can click the like button. And so I wish Instagram have a dislike button because, or maybe actually there's already a not interested button. I can go ahead and do that. So that's already my solution there. So if I don't want to watch anything inappropriate, I don't want to watch anything stupid, then I could go ahead and watch the, not interested button. Even though we also have school, even though we also have another trend. So have you ever heard of linking? Then you've heard of Chromebooks. Chromebooks, I don't like Chromebooks at all, and that's why I prefer to use Windows. But nowadays, when it comes to editing, when it comes to doing some class assignments, I'm also realizing that battery life is like an iPhone. It can go so low, and not so low, but it can decrease rapidly where I'm in need to buy a MacBook. And so I've discussed my benefits to MacBook previously, and so if you haven't watched episode 10, then make sure you listen to that as well. Anyways, and so, actually, no, I'm not going to talk about MacBooks again. So that's one of the things that frustrates me. So not just the how-to videos, but it's also just the way that I need to buy new computers and new equipment. And now, yeah, I guess that's really about it for me. And I guess now to come think of it, it reminds me of this one time when I decided to when I decided to go to high school, and I met a teacher that's passive aggressive. Usually the assignments that had something to do with English class were mostly just reading comprehension ones. And they're mostly inadequate because I'm in high school and I'm just doing like second or sixth grade work. And the resources that you can easily find with a subscription is Ed Helper. And I guess it's the whole source wherein I say I don't really like when a writer says, don't do this, don't do that. It's like, I feel like I'm feeling locked in the birdcage, where I don't have any freedom to do so. Well, I just don't have any freedom at all. So when it comes to having some passive aggressive teachers telling you all this, telling this and that, you can be firm where you want, but I just don't really want to deal with someone who's strict. And that's just the reason why I can't just say I have panic attacks when my brother has. Like, that's another problem we need to discuss, because sometimes my brother just goes on and say, oh, but then what if this, what if that? And so then we're going to get caught and all this. Maybe in the season finale, I'll talk more about my parents, and I'll actually have this, and I will spend my time maybe it's writing a whole script and talking about my own evolution and biography of who I am. So hopefully you enjoyed that in the next couple of weeks. So I guess that's really about it. I was gonna talk about Rawless critiques just in case you weren't gonna watch it, but I think my voice is already screwed. My voice is already screwed anyway, so I think I'm just gonna call today, and maybe talk about that, and then maybe talk about that on my own YouTube channel. So go ahead and follow GhostCity25 on YouTube, or if you want, go ahead and follow my Instagram account. Hopefully I still have that as well. But remember, make sure you go on my Instagram at XJRs24. If you're on my YouTube channel, make sure you go on and look over XJ24, or my other username, GhostCity25. And remember, if you have the time, please go ahead and do so. Anyways, hopefully my voice will get better, and then I'll be back with another episode. Remember, next time we're going to be talking about the evolution of XJ24, or in that case, the story of XJ24. And why I decided to pursue for music, even though I'm doing videos as well. So, be on the lookout for a few songs coming up next, and hopefully I don't have to deal with any copyright concerns or copyright infringement. And yeah, hopefully I don't get a strike. That's the one thing I'm going to say right now. Hopefully I don't get caught from having a copyright strike, and then I have to replace the whole thing with something different. But who knows?
This has been a production of the Essex County College Podcast Club. Copyright 2024, all rights reserved.